Welcome, beautiful soul. It's time to remember who we are. You were born for this moment, this breath. Nature teaches us and reminds us that whatever it is that we are searching for, that whatever our hearts and souls are longing for, we must know our unlimited power and worth. It's all already within us. So thank you for saying yes to this moment. Thank you for saying yes to this journey. And most of all, thank you for saying yes to yourself. Welcome, beautiful soul. Hello, beautiful soul. Thank you so much for joining us today. We are going to be talking about breakdowns and breaking open. No, it doesn't sound fun, and yes, it is so powerful and often so necessary for our journey. Before we go further, of course, we're going to start with some beautiful breath. I invite you, if you're able to safely do so, to join us by closing your eyes. And right now, we just want to start with breathing. Notice your own breath moving in and out and through your body. Notice your own rhythm of the inhale, the movement of breath through you, and then the exhale. Is your rhythm a little short or choppy? Is it soft or heavy? Is it long or simply noticing? This is also our time to give thanks to ourselves for being here right now in this moment, alive and breathing. And so we give thanks to ourselves for being present and giving ourselves this time to be nourished and replenished. And we also use this time to give thanks to the breath of life moving through us, reminding us that we are far more than just our physical selves, that we are a beautiful energy, spirit, soul, that there's more to us than our physical body. And we are grateful for breath of life connecting us to all of life. That we're part of a greater rhythm, a greater symphony than our mind could ever fully comprehend. So instead of comprehending, we're simply noticing the expansion within us as we simply breathe. Every inhale, we're inviting more ease. We're inviting our connection to peace. We're inviting our connection to our inner truth, our inner power, our inner wisdom and knowing. And every exhale, we're letting go of the thoughts that try to keep us tethered to limitation, tethered to worry and stress, tethered to what we cannot change. And so we make space for more ease and releasing all that is not ours. Notice if there's any tension in your body. This is a great time to notice where we might be holding on to tightness. This is where I love to rotate, yes, my head and let go of the cracks and the creaks that sometimes show up in my neck. So I'm rotating in one direction softly, and then if you'd like to, you can switch and rotate to the other direction softly. And we make space during this breath to settle into the stillness within us. So there is a physical stillness, and then there is an inner stillness. And breath is one way that we can deepen and soften into stillness. Notice if your shoulders are up by your ears, and you can rotate and drop them as we relax and remind ourselves that in this moment we are well, we are safe, we are supported, we are loved. Breath reminds us that our name is peace and compassion and gentleness and kindness, light, love. As we breathe, we remember that these are not characteristics that we put on like a sweater and take off, but that this is our true essence. And breathing reminds us to look and listen and connect within, deep within, to our inner heart, beyond our emotions, to the wellspring, the river, the reservoir of who we really are. And so let's take one deep breath in together. Inhale with me. And now hold that breath. And let's slowly let it go. You can return to normal breathing. And when you're ready, come back and join us and open your eyes. Wow. Breath is so fabulous, so delicious, such an amazing way for us to pause all of the noise, all of the movement that's happening within our own heads, and sometimes and often all around us. And breath is how we can come back and remind ourselves who we really are. That when we become too connected to the outer, we come out of harmony with who we are. So, when we grow up, as I have described in my own life, believing that we need to fit these outer patterns, it's almost like, pouring yourself into a mold and believing that you need to be that mold and conforming to that mold. Constricting ourselves, squeezing in to a mold that could never hold the fullness of who we are. And so when we make ourselves fit into what is not for us, there is a disconnect. There's a distortion. And that often leads to what we may call a breakdown. So when you, for too long, try to be everything that is not really you, your inner self knows and eventually will interrupt what is a toxic pattern. It's toxic, and it's also sometimes so slow. So slow in creeping up in us until we can't swallow anymore. It's as though all of the oxygen has been sucked out of us, and then we can't breathe. We cannot flow and go further in a stale construct that was never meant for us. So I want you to think about your own life. Where was a time where you really attached to an idea of what you needed to do and who you needed to be that was not really authentic and true for you? We all have that experience here in Planet Earth School, where there's a part of us that comes needing to be reminded of who we really are, that's searching for the answer, for the truth of who am I? And in that search, we so easily succumb and sanction our power to someone else's definition of who I am and what I'm called to, who I'm to be, what I'm to do. And it may work, I'm using air quotes, it works for a little while. For a little while, it seems like, okay, things are moving along. You may receive rewards and recognition or achieve things and feel important. People may tell you how valuable you are. And for a while, we feel full. And we feel affirmed in continuing in that pattern. But eventually, the little cracks begin to show up. And if you've listened like I did to what everybody else said, when the cracks showed up, you know what I did was I tried to put a new coat of paint over the crack, a new veneer over that crack, hoping that would solve everything, smooth it over. But that nagging little sound, that little voice that says, you're settling. You know you're more. You know there is more. You're not being honest with who you really are and what's really for you. And we can try to quiet that voice. We can try to tune it out. We can try to ignore it or make everything else loud by staying busier, by going faster, to drown it out because we don't want to hear that perhaps we're moving against our true current. There's a true current within you, a true flow, and we can go with it, and we can also choose to resist it. And without knowing, in my case, I just kept putting one foot in front of the other. Fast, quicker, chasing, trying to get to the next thing and the next thing and the next thing, as if this is going to give me the peace that I was racing toward. This is going to give me that, oh, yes, I've done it. This really fulfills me. This is who I am. But can I tell you that each stage leaves a residue of dissatisfaction? Each step left a lingering, this isn't quite it. But I didn't want to slow down because I viewed it as a race. And if I slowed down, I would lose the race. I would miss out. I'd be left behind. Because, of course, trying to fit the mold meant paying attention to everybody else's mold and comparing myself to everybody else's mold. And I want you to slow down and think about that. Have you done that? Have you tried to fit into a mold and then compared yourself to other people's molds? Who are they trying to fit into? Who are they? So I need to maybe fit in with that and be like that, and look what someone else has achieved in their mold, in the form that really wasn't their true form, to be chasing all of this inauthenticity. And the chase eventually depletes us. It depletes us physically. It shows up that we are exhausted. Sometimes we become ill. We become sad. We can become depressed. We can feel anxious. Those are all signs that we are out of harmony with our truth, that we've been chasing the outer picture and then judging ourselves against an outer picture that was never our own. And so the breakdown comes. And for some of us, the breakdown feels like I can't move. We're immobilized. Either with fear, exhaustion, overwhelm, numb, where all of a sudden nothing matters. We don't care anymore. Some turn to substances to try to numb more, or to try to pick themselves up to keep going. People even do things that look healthy on the outside. I'm using air quotes again, healthy on the outside. And so they work out and work out and work out. And there's nothing wrong with working out. It's always the intention underneath it. Am I working out, running, exercising, trying to run away from who I really am and from the message that is creeping up in us that we can't push down anymore? The crack that keeps returning, no matter how many coats of paint, no matter how much veneer we put on it, the crack begins to reappear. And every crack is greater than the last one. And when we have a breakdown, it's so important that we pay attention to who we're listening to. There's some great support that can remind us that we're okay and help us come back to the place of wholeness. And then there's other kind of help that will tell you just keep going, just push through it. You'll be okay. Which essentially means put that costume back on, fit back into that mold, go back to what used to work for you, if it ever did. Because I'm here to challenge if it ever did work for us. All it did was make everybody else feel comfortable. And so we felt comfortable because we all were doing the same thing, which was living outside of our truth. But hey, you weren't alone. Everybody tells you it's okay. This is how it's supposed to be. Stop trying to be more. Don't search for more. Let go of your dreams. I'm here to tell you that the real dream within you won't let you compromise. It is calling us. And so when everything comes to a halt, that's what a breakdown does. I want us to think, is it really a breakdown? Everything comes to a slam the brakes, stop. And almost like an accident, everything becomes silent in the moments right afterwards. So there's that crashing sound, and then it's silent. And it's in that silence that I want you to know that's where we often are having a breaking open. Breaking open from the concrete and the cement that was keeping us trapped and separate from our truth. The truth of who we are and the truth of why we are. That you're here for a reason. That there's been a deposit put in you before you were in your mother's womb. There's a purpose that is truly for you and only you. And yet, when you say yes to that purpose, it connects you and supports the all. It connects you to the all and it supports the all. We all become elevated as each of us says yes to what is for us. So like an egg that breaks open, sometimes that cracking open is a revealing of what's really there, and it looks messy, and so we become uncomfortable with that. Just like people are uncomfortable sometimes with other people's illness or even our own illness. We're uncomfortable with what looks like it's not fitting the norm. It's all not nice and neat anymore. It's messy. That messiness, however, is the revelation, the revealing of what's really inside. So that we can continue on this journey, honoring the truth of who we are, of what we really feel, of what we believe. Now, I have all of the bumper stickers and t-shirts from so many times trying to be what someone else said would be great. I thought, you know what, I'm going to start out and be a doctor because they get all the attention and the accolades, and I want that. And it became murky because I actually enjoyed biology and microbiology, so it felt like the right thing. But underneath, I was chasing the accolades more than I was chasing the purpose. Have you ever done that? It looks like you're chasing what's noble, but really you're chasing what can only be attained inside out. Knowing you are worthy. Knowing that your true power and worth comes from you being who you really are. And that has nothing to do with a title or a vocation. It simply is you saying yes to your true why. And how do we find that true why? We make space for stillness and listening. Instead of being scared of hearing what I don't want to hear, with courage, we begin to say, I'm ready to hear it. I'm ready to stop the chase and the race for what's not really mine and what's not really for me. I'm ready to come home. To my original why, my original purpose, which is always already within us. So the breaking open is a gift. And yes, I know, and I'm smiling as I say it does not feel like a gift, and yet it is a gift. Eventually, when we stop resisting and stop fighting it, there's a lightness and an ease, and in the same way that the breath we exhale, the heaviness begins to leave. All that we were carrying that was false, that was someone else's definition, someone else's pattern, someone else's expectation, that we attached to like it was our own. When we let that go, the quiet begins to, little by little, form into a new note of a new song. There's a new note and a new song waiting to emerge when we let ourselves be broken open. Now, I did say something powerful there when I said letting ourselves be broken open. We can choose to interrupt our own race, our own old constructs and patterns. We can stop squeezing into what's not ours. And we can choose to be broken open, to open ourselves, to break through the old exterior and let who we really are come through. It doesn't have to end in a crashing moment. It doesn't have to end with you hitting a brick wall, of you completely depleting yourselves. It can begin with little yeses and little no's to what's not for you. Little yeses to what is and what I'm ready to explore, and little no's to no, that's not for me. No, that doesn't resonate within me. No, that moves against the integrity of who I am. No. I don't need to chase someone else's approval. I get to practice giving myself the love and approval that we're all searching for. And it's so interesting that what we're searching for is what we really already have. But like the book The Alchemist, we go on this journey that leads us back home so that we can see the true gold is already right here. So we break through the exterior, the false parts, the old metal, and we put ourselves through our own refinement of saying, I'm ready to filter through all that's not for me so that what's left can truly shine like gold. For some of us, we go through a fire and a heat and a crucible. For others, it can be a gentle process. There's no one way. They're simply saying yes and being open and trusting that the true you is what we are all waiting for. What will uplift us all is when you say yes to who you really are. We all get to experience that liberation and that joy and the freedom and the expansion. And it spreads. It's contagious. So I encourage you to examine, am I ready to listen to what is really for me? Am I ready to let go of the falsehood, to stop painting over the cracks, to stop being afraid of the messiness, to stop chasing the outer, exterior definitions that can never satisfy me, nor ever sustain me, nor never nourish me, and instead begin to say yes to exploring the truth within, the answer within. It's in you. It's waiting for you. And we are waiting for you. We are waiting for ourselves as one humanity, elevating and coming home to the truth of who we are. So I invite you to practice noticing, listening, and honoring the truth that's already within you. Thank you so much for today. Thank you for being beautiful soul. Thank you, beautiful soul, for remembering who we are and for making time and space to be with us today. As you go forward on your journey to the known and unknown places, continue to listen to your inner heart and honor your soul, because your answers are always within you. Please consider supporting us in spreading more light and love with this message by simply liking the video below, subscribing, and consider sharing as well. Most of all, take gentle care and breathe. We see you. We thank you, beautiful soul.